Hi, friends. Here we are together again for another day of keeping a notebook. I will be speaking to you from inside Betsy the Writing Camper. Here she is on the outside and the inside. Fridays are for poetry. Since 2010, I have shared poems each Friday at my other blog, The Poem Farm. Now I will share the same poem idea in both places each week. Today's notebook and poetry talk is titled Outside My Window. Welcome back to Keeping a Notebook. Today is Poetry Day here at the Poem Farm where it is warm and very windy. So I'm glad I'm in Betsy now because she might get a little rocky a little later in the day. Today's writing exercise is I'm calling Outside My Window. And I thought of it, and certainly many people have done this before, but I was looking in this book called The Art of Noticing by Rob Walker, and he has an exercise in here called Look Out a Window, where he says spend 10 minutes looking out the window you most persistently ignore. Find one in your office or your bedroom or wherever, the one you take for granted and you forget it's even there. Examine the edges of what the window makes visible. Find 3 things you've never noticed. Describe the scene in front of you. Next time you encounter a window that's new to you, stop and look. Study the view. Tally the details. Look for movement. Think about what you can't control. See what happens. So I thought I would do that. I'd take a window, I'd sit by a window, look outside the window, and I listed some things that I saw. And I looked actually out Betsy's window here, and I saw, I wrote, I see the leaves I didn't rake last year, a hook where the hummingbird feeder lives, a wooden picnic table, trees and even more trees, a warm lighted house window, an old piece of farm equipment, pale blue sky like a blanket, 2 fat stumps where mushrooms grow, smoke from an old house chimney, 2 friendly pink flamingos, a quiet scene, ghosts of children playing. Sometimes I think I hear them. A battered outhouse, grass waking from wintertime, a path, the entryway to a path, some raspberry canes, a country road with no traffic. And then I took that list and I thought, really, I could have just shortened each one of those things, each one of those lines, and written a list poem about what I see outside my window. So I started to play around, and you can see here, see if you can see, you'll see it later, it'll be clearer, but outside my window, I wrote, I see the leaves I have not raked, a wooden picnic table, 2 fat stumps, smoke from a chimney. And then I got playing even more. Outside my window, I see pale blue sky like a blanket, green grass just waking up, 2 fat stumps where mushrooms grow. These stumps were tall maples, holding a hammock between them. Children took turns swinging each other, swinging dolls and teddies, swinging and reading, held by a hammock, held by 2 maples, now 2 fat stumps I see out my window. So I played with that. I ended up, you can see I sketched it out too. I wrote a list of a lot of things I saw, and then I thought I would include all of the things in my poem, but instead I decided to just focus on the stumps. Sometimes you don't know, well, you think you know what you want to write, but as you begin writing, a new idea comes clear to you. And it's important to listen to that part of your head and your brain and your soul that's saying, no, don't write that first thing. This is the thing that you want to write. Part of writing and part of drawing and making art is learning how to get quiet enough inside where you can hear what it is that you really want to say or what it is that wants to come through you. So I had a good time doing this. After I drafted around here, I did end up typing it up, which you'll see in a moment, just because sometimes it helps me to move words around that way. So I'll often, usually all my drafts are handwritten first, but then I like to go to my computer and play around there. So you might today, since it's Poetry Day, you might choose something that you're writing now or something even that you wrote before and say, I think I'll turn it into a poem. Maybe I'll even take it to the computer and move lines around and see how it looks a few different ways. So it's good to see you. The weekend is coming up. Remember, you can write all weekend. I'll be writing this weekend. I'll be thinking about what we'll do together next weekend. And I wish you well. I'm thinking about you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family, your friends. Do good creative things. This is a time we all can grow. Be well. On the right side of this page, you can see the list of what I see outside my window in Betsy. And here's where I played around with the lines to make a poem draft. Then I typed it up and played around with it even more. 2 fat stumps. These 2 fat stumps were once fine maples. Together they held a hammock for years. Children took turns swinging each other, swinging worn teddies, swinging and reading, held by a hammock, held by 2 maples. Now 2 fat stumps I see out my window. Here is a book recommendation for you. Each turn of the page in Rob's book offers a new writing and thinking idea. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, know that there is much to explore here at Sharing Our Notebooks and also at my other blog, The Poem Farm, where you can find hundreds of poems and poetry ideas.